Would stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. First item on tonight's agenda is approval of the agenda.
So there's two changes that I saw. We're going to have to talk with Ben beforehand. The 9C, there's no resolution, no approved resolution. And on 9F, if you look at the backup, it says everything is a loader, but on the agenda item it says tandem truck. So that's supposed to be receive the loader quotes and return them to the engineer. So it was just a typo on that part. But
So on 9C, can you clarify?
So 9C is award bid to low bidder. There's no resolution, right?
Okay, so striking the resolution on 9C. Is that correct?
Yes, you just simply need when you look at the information, you just need a recommendation to award the bid to the low bidder instead of signing a resolution to do the same.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll move that.
I'll second that.
Motion by Radig, second by Bittinger. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay, and the motion passes 5-0. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Items 2 through 7 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 2 is approval of the minutes of the April 11th, 2023 meeting and approval of the minutes of the April 7th, 2023 special legislative roundtable. Item 3 is approval of claims. Item 4 from the county auditor is to receive the auditor's quarterly report. 4B is to receive the county recorder's report of fees collected. Item 5, Deputy Commissioner of Elections, is to receive the appointment of Anthony McFarland as City Councilman for the City of Anthony to fill the vacancy that was left when Alan Pithen resigned. Item 6 from Human Resources, is the approval of the Memorandum of Personnel Transactions. And B is to authorize the initiation of the hiring process. Item 7 from the County Treasurer, A is to approve the resolution naming depositories to correct name from Kingsley State Bank to Mid-States Bank and increase deposit amount from $1 million to $5 million. B is the approval of refund payment in the amount of $391 for the parcel ending in the last 4 is 7003, pending verification that the payment is not returned as non-sufficient funds. And item C is approval of the refund payment in the amount of $27,614 for parcel last 4 of 0024, pending verification that the payment is not returned as non-sufficient funds.
I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Nelson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay, and the motion carries 5-0. That ends the consent agenda. Item 8 is the next item from the county auditor. This is the approval of an agreement for professional services between Woodbury County Board of Supervisors acting as trustees for the Salix Drainage District and Veenstra and Kim Incorporated to assist the city of Salix with the creation of the Salix Drainage District.
Good afternoon and evening, I suppose. And I guess if there's any questions on the agreement, I'm here to answer them.
I'll move it.
Motion by Radig, second by Bittinger. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the short discussion, but I think we've had some prior, so. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and the motion carries 5-0. Item 9 from Secondary Roads, Ben Kuzler. Item A is to receive the bids for crack routing and sealing and return them to the county engineer for review and recommendation. And Ben?
Ben Kuzler, project engineer. Looks like we have 4 bids, which is nice to see. Kyle's handing out some tabulation sheets. Excuse me. Our first bid is from Dentco Highway Construction in Mingo, Iowa. Nobody was getting into that one.
Promoting their sealing technique.
They do have a correctly signed bid bond. Their bid is $33,826.00. $33,826.00. Excuse me. The next one is from Midwest Coatings Company of Modale, Iowa. Nobody was getting in that one either. Good grief. Yeah. What does want to do that for Johnny Carson? They also had a signed bid bond for the correct amount. Their bid is,
What was the amount there, Ben?
this is the bid bond.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sorry. Their bid is $43,916.00. $43,916.00. Next one is from Fort Dodge Asphalt, Fort Dodge, Iowa. They also have a correctly signed bid bond. Their bid is $71,748.00. $71,748.00. The last bid is from Sioux Commercial Sweeping Incorporated of Sioux Center, Iowa. And they have supplied a cashier's check to the amount of the bid bond for $2,000, which is acceptable. Their bid is $25,136.00. $25,136.00.
You need time to review, or?
Give me 30 seconds.
I'd move to receive the bids for crack routing and sealing. Motion by Taylor, second by Nelson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay, and the motion carries 5-0.
I don't see any irregularities, and it's a very clear bid that Sioux Commercial Sweeping was a low bid for $25,136.00.
I'll move to award the bid to Sioux Commercial Sweeping.
Motion by Radig, second by Nelson to award the bid to Sioux Commercial Sweeping. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no or nay. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. We'll go to item C, which is to award the bid for project number LB parent E667397 to the low bidder Dixon Construction for $777,985.70.
I'll move that. Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Bittinger. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and the motion carries 5-0. Next is item D, is the approval of the contract for project number CP 2023 CMP Culvert Supply for 2023 with Metal Culverts Incorporated for $86,441, and I believe that's 14 cents.
Second.
Motion by Radig, second by Nelson. Is there discussion? Oh, Bittinger. Right. Congratulations on throwing your voice for my bad hearing. So that's motion by Radig, second by Bittinger. Is there any discussion?
Was it 41 cents? I can't remember.
14,
14.
yes.
Okay.
And just a side note, going through some of these bid numbers, they're lower than last year, so that's good.
That's
Something
good. That's
nice
in
to see.
line with the low bid that we had underneath your estimate as well for the previous issue. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay, and the motion carries 5-0. Item 9E is to accept the motor grader quotes and return them to the county engineer for an award recommendation.
This is a letting to replace the Hornick maintenance motor grader. We have two bids. First bid is from Murphy Tractor and Equipment in Sioux City. The first bid is for the Hornick District 5. A net bid of $436,044 with a trade-in allowance of $55,000 for a net bid with trade-in of $381,044. That's for Unit 512. So a net bid with trade-in of $381,044. The Odo District, Unit 414, has a net bid of $436,044 with a trade-in allowance of $55,000. So the net bid with trade-in is $381,044. $381,044. Excuse me. The next bid is from Ziegler Cat of Sioux City. The first bid is for Unit 512, the Hornick motor grader. The net bid, $443,092.95, with a trade-in allowance of $48,200.00, for a net bid with trade-in, $394,892.95. $394,892.95. Next model is unit number 414, the Odo District. Net bid, $443,092.95, with a trade-in allowance of $46,700.00, for a net bid with trade-in of $396,392.95. $396,392.95. It's recommended that we return this to the county engineer for his review.
Well, I'd move to accept the motor grader quotes and return them to the county engineer for an award recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Taylor, second by Raddick. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and the motion carries 5-0. Then you can award one to one bidder and one to the other, is that correct?
I think, yes, Mark has that allowance. I think he can do that.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Because on its face, that would appear like that may be
Right.
the way things
Right,
fall.
because they are separate units, correct.
Right, right.
And he could decide whether or not the trade-in allowance was adequate.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, he kind of has a lot of leeway in this and, because they're different kinds of machines, so. And of course, we as a board don't necessarily have to take his recommendation either, but I don't know of any time where we haven't.
Correct.
all right, very good. Thank you very much. The next item, item 9F, is to receive the loader quotes and return them to the county engineer for an award recommendation.
Okay, and this is for one loader, replacing the loader we have in Hornick. That was quite popular. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bids. The first bid is from Mid-Country Machinery of Sergeant Bluff. The bid without trade is $327,950. The trade-in allowance for this would be $22,500. I'm sorry, I read that incorrectly. They wrote them on the wrong lines. Without trade, the net price is $305,450. So without the trade, the net price is $305,450.00. With an allowable trade of $22,500, the total price would be, no, I did read them correctly. So the net price with the trade is $305,450.
So just to review, $327,950 less a $22,500 trade for a
Correct.
net of $305,450.
$305,450. Yes.
Okay,
One of
thank
the
you.
threes looks like a 2, so it's very good. Next one is a surprise. Hyundai Construction Equipment of Sioux City. Huh? Reuters, yeah. Yes. Their bid without trade is $265,000 even. 265,000. They're allowing a trade of 40,850 for a net price of $224,150. $224,150. Next bid is from Murphy Tractor and Equipment in Sioux City. Their net without trade is $330,950.00. They're allowing a trade-in of $40,000 for a net price of $290,950.00. $290,950.00. Our next bid is from TransSource. Not quite sure, I'll find out where they're from. From Sioux Falls, and Sioux City, Aberdeen, Rapid City. Their bid without trade is $318,500.00, less a trade allowance of $50,000 for a net price of $268,500.00. $268,500.00.
You be sure to mention the type of machine they're bidding with too.
It's a Volvo wheel loader on that one. Last bid is from Ziegler Cat in Sioux City. And they're bidding a 950 GC wheel loader. Their quote without trade is $304,168.74. Their trade allotment is $40,300.00 for a net trade-in with trade-in of $263,868.74. $263,868.74.
I'll move to receive.
Second?
Motion by Radig, second by Bittinger, to receive these quotes and return them to the county engineer for an award recommendation. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and the motion passes 5-0. Item G is to accept the single axle truck quotes and return them to the county engineer for an award recommendation.
This is to replace two single axle plow trucks. One in Mobile and one in Correctionville.
So is the number 35 or number 202 Mobile, and which one's Correctionville?
You want to know which numbers go to which district?
Yeah, number 35 is the 09 Freightliner single axle.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the bid and see which ones I can get to. First bid is from Sioux City Truck and Trailer in Sioux City. Yeah, the Mobile is 202 and the Odo's 35, I think. So truck 202 has a purchase price of $210,689.00. And they are not allowing a trade. Says bid trade would be 60 days prior to new truck delivery. Not quite sure how he would negotiate that, but, so they did not allow for a trade on this bid. So $210,689.00. Unit 35, a bid without trade, $210,689. And again, bid trade 60 days prior to new truck delivery. So Mark, I have to review what that actually means as far as negotiating that price. Never seen that before, but. So $210,689 for unit 35. And that was for Kenworth. I-State Trek Center is the next one.
How many did you have total, Ben?
5.
5, okay.
And that's for a Western Star 47X. For unit 202, $210,213.00. Less allowable trade of $5,000. For a net purchase price with trade, $205,213.00. For unit 35, a purchase price of $210,213.00 with a trade allowance of $7,500 for a net purchase price of $202,713.00. $202,713.00. And there's another one from I-State Truck Center. That'll be a different model. This is for a Freightliner 108 SD Plus. For Unit 202, price without trade, $198,305.00, less a trade of $5,000, for a net purchase price with trade of $193,305.00. $193,305.00. Next unit is Truck 35. Purchase price without trade, $198,305.00, less a allowable trade of $7,500, for a net purchase price with trade, $190,805.00. $190,805.00. Next one is from Boyer Trucks of Sioux Falls. They're also quoting a Western Star 47X. Purchase price without trade, $200,540.00, with a trade allowance of $8,000, for a net purchase price of $192,540.00. $192,540.00. Truck 35. Purchase price without trade, $200,540.00, less a trade of $7,000, for a net purchase price of $193,540.00. $193,540.00. This next bid is from Cornhusker International. It's an International 2025 HV 607. With truck 202, bid without trade, $201,820.00, less a trade of $4,000, for a net purchase price with trade of $197,820. $197,820. Truck 35, purchase price without trade, $201,820.00, with allowable trade of $7,000. A net purchase price with trade of $194,820. $194,820. That's it.
Move to receive.
Motion by Radig, second by Nelson, to receive the single axle truck quotes and return them to the county engineer for an award recommendation. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay, and the motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you.
Item 10 is reports on committee meetings.
I had none.
I got quite a few here, so bear with me. Last week, Wednesday, I filled in for Supervisor Ung at the WCICC meeting with Dan Binger. That was fun. Anytime you get to hang out with John Malloy, it's a good day. So it was just interesting sitting in on a committee or a meeting that I'm not normally part of. Also on Wednesday, I had a StarCom meeting. It was the first one since I've been on the board. I got to meet some nice folks there and got a tour of the facility from Mike Montino. Got to talk with him and some of the stuff that he does, so that was very productive. Thursday last week, we had the Conservation Board meeting. We talked about some of the parks programs that they got coming up for the summer, some of the activities. They're having some great pre-registers for some of the stuff. They've really been killing it on social media lately, so that's been, it's great to see Dorothy Pico and its page shared on Facebook. One of the things that I brought up as an idea that we're going to pursue is we talk about the economic impact that some of these parks have on the towns in their close vicinity. And I asked Dan and Brian if they had room on their check-in shack where towns could put information regarding the amenities or the businesses in their towns, like restaurants, shopping, that kind of stuff. So if people, if they're out of county or out of state, pull in there when they go to pay their camper fees, they could get some information about what, say, Driftwood Pizza in Correctionville has and what their hours, that kind of stuff, or when Katie and Company in Anthony is open. So they have room. They're going to do that. And I reached out to Correctionville and Anthony to kind of compile that information. They were going to reach out to like Salix and Sloan for Snyder's Bend, Browns Lake there, but that's just something we thought we could do to try to convince people if they come into the parks to spend some time with us that they could go out to other places of the county and spend their time and money with local businesses. So it's been very receptive, and so hopefully just posting some simple flyers, information, that kind of thing, that we can spur some more economic activity in the county over the summer. Then Thursday night, I went to the Woodbury County Farm Bureau meeting. Sheriff Sheehan was there, along with Rocky DeWitt. Talked about the jail. Rocky gave a legislative update. He's very popular still amongst the Farm Bureau folks, in case you're wondering. But it was a good meeting. I did ask them for some input on our commercial solar ordinance, zoning changes that we're looking at. So hopefully we get some input from some of our farmer stakeholders in the county as to what they would like to see us do with that. There's lots of counties that do a lot of different things, and so I thought that was a great place to start. Friday, we had Friday morning, I had the LEC meeting. They gave a progress report on the jail, and again, special thanks to Fibercom and for all all you guys do. Really appreciate that. And then this morning, I had the Soil and Water Conservation Board. We talked about, or they gave updates on the technicians this time of year. They're trying to get a lot of tree work and debris cleared from a lot of these watersheds before farmers are out planting, and they've kind of got a lot of work to do. Again, I asked that board as well, since it's mostly made up of farmers and rural people. We talked about the commercial solar zoning change, and I asked them for some input on what from the soil and water conservation side, what they would like to see us do. Tossed around some ideas there. So that was good. I think I've talked long enough, but then I had a meeting this morning also with Summit Carbon with Dan, and he can probably talk about that too. But
Sure. Yeah, just had the WCICC meeting. They're working hard, replacing a bunch of PCs coming up. They're waiting equipment for the LEC still, so they're still waiting on some of that. And then they're just implementing a bunch of new programs, just updating, so kind of standard stuff they're working on right now, but doing a good job. This morning, Mark and I met with Summit Carbon Solutions. They heard about our meeting last week and called and wanted to drive over from Ames, and so we met with them, and they just wanted to hear where we were at, what were our concerns, what were the citizens' concerns, and so it was a good hour and a half meeting, just updating them our concerns, where we're at, and so they're just going to be, if you have any questions, just let them know if we have any questions of the company, and so, yeah, that was it, I guess. There was a lot of things we could dive into, but a lot of it was, we had to agree to disagree, Mark and I, with him on a few things, so.
Thank you for your responsiveness and for the committee reports. Anything from Albania?
Nope, just preaching the gospel.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Item 11, citizen concerns. Do you have any concerned citizens who would like to approach the board?
I'll go first. Ernie Colt, 4526 Perry Way. I've got some real concerns about the Law Enforcement Center project that I want to bring to your attention today. Let me give you a little bit of a background. Some of you guys weren't here. Prior to the bond referendum going out for the LEC project, the LEC authority approached me and was asking for my support to help pass the bond referendum. And they got it. I partnered with them and we got the bond referendum passed. We wanted to build a new jail. We're all on board with that. So once we got that done, we started figuring out how we're going to get the jail built and get it built right. Part of that process was passing this quality assurance questionnaire. On July 14, 2020, there was a motion by Raddick, second by Ung, to replace the existing quality assurance questionnaire with an edit to increase the threshold to 500,000. It was carried 5-0. So I then took this questionnaire to the LEC authority, and we also passed it there for that project. Okay, so when the bids went out, this questionnaire was also a part of that. The general contractors bidding on that project knew that they were going to be subject to this questionnaire, and they agreed to it. When the bid was awarded, the general contractor signed off on this, answered the questions, signed it off, sent it back to the Woodbury County Facilities Director. Fast forward. So recently, I've been trying to visit the job site. This has been ongoing for about a year. And all of a sudden, we came up with a whole list of things to do before you could visit the job site. And let's keep in mind that I visit job sites every day. I've visited thousands of job sites in the last 10 years. And I've never had anyone try to keep me off of a job site as much as these people are trying to do this. They not only don't want me to visit the job site, they don't want me to speak at the meetings. They don't want to hear me. They say things like, Ernie, we've got a jail to build. We promised the citizens of Woodbury County we're going to build them a jail. We don't have time for you. We don't have time for all this stuff. They want to silence me. They don't want to hear me. They put the county sheriff on the list for permission to visit the job site. So I called the county sheriff, had a conversation with him. I'd like to, that conversation went something like this. I'd like to think that our county sheriff is not being paid to guard a job site where there could be unlawful activities happening. And sheriff agreed with me. He's like, Ernie, I had nothing to do with that job site. I don't own that job site. There's nothing I can do for it. So they're putting things in place that really don't have any meaning. And, there's permission from the authority, which they would never give me. There's permission from Hausman Construction, the general contractor, that they will never give me permission to go on the project, okay? So I wanted to ask some questions. So the first question I asked, and the first statement I made, the general contractor has filled this questionnaire out and agreed to do this. So question 20, contractor affirms it will retain only subcontractors who can fully comply with the bid specs, including those that address requirements concerning labor. 21 says the contractor affirms that it will be responsible for ensuring that each subcontractor meets quality assurance specifications. Okay, then it goes on 22. It says contractor agrees to submit to the Woodbury County Facilities Director a list of all intended subcontractors within 14 calendar days of notification to the apparent lowest bidder. And if they want to replace any originally designated subcontractor, they can't do that without the approval of the Woodbury County Facilities Director. Such approval will not be unreasonably withheld. And so, trying to get answers to these questions has been really difficult. So, we as taxpayers, I know, looks like everyone in here pays taxes. All we want to know, all we want to make sure is that every worker on that project is also paying taxes, because they're building that project with our tax dollars. That's our money. They agreed to use it responsibly. Now, if there's no enforcement of this, and they don't want anyone to speak up on it, who's to say our money's being spent responsibly? Okay? So there's some real problems there. And my ask of this board, and I went to the city council meeting last night, and I got the support from the city council to be appointed to the LEC Authority Committee without vote. Because as you all know, if there's a subcontractor taking off that project and another one has to be there, I don't want to have a vote to say who's going to be that contractor. That'd be a conflict of interest. Do you agree? And so what I want to do is help facilitate this questionnaire, help enforce it, get some answers for the citizens of Woodbury County. I don't think that's a whole lot to ask. I know some of you were in the room when they don't want me to speak. And I'd also mention on March 17th, I was at an LEC meeting when we talked about visitation. And the following month, I checked the minutes, and there's nothing in the minutes that says I was even there. And so next month, I'm going to check the minutes again to see if they recognized my attendance at the last meeting. And so not only are they not wanting me to speak, they're not letting anybody know that I'm even present at the meetings. And this is a real problem for us. When the contractor agrees to abide by this, and we all agreed that they should abide by this, we need to make them abide by this. So again, I'd ask for your support to be appointed to that LEC authority without vote.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Colt. Is there anybody else who would like to speak or address the board?
Matthew O'Kane, Sioux City City Council, 405 6th Street, Sioux City, Iowa, 51102. It has been a long day of testing in a middle school, so I am going to read what I have prepared here because that's going to be way more coherent. I am here to voice my support of Brother Colt, who brought concerns to our meeting last night that we feel merit the board's cooperation. Just this past week, we had a business owner from our community sentenced for tax evasion for taxing employees and keeping the money rather than turning it over to the tax authority and the federal government. This is not uncommon in today's world, unfortunately. In January, a business owner from Florida was sentenced for trafficking workers to states throughout the Midwest. Exploited workers are often told they need to work off debt and have wages kept from them. Undocumented workers have a right to fair wages and a safe place to live. Most of the concerns Mr. Colt voiced yesterday revolved around knowing who is on the job site. This seems like a reasonable request considering the site has a history of catastrophic failure. If another wall were to fall and we have no idea who is on the job site, we have no idea who could be seriously injured, missing, or worse, dead. Other concerns revolved around simply knowing what contractors were on site, what companies are being subcontracted to. These are all records that should be kept by the county anyways, so I don't see the harm in allowing Mr. Colt access to that information. Transparency should be the cornerstone of public service. A request Mr. Colt has made is to be allowed access to the worksite to interview employees and observe the progress being made. He was provided with several items he needed to complete to gain access to the site, and he completed all of them, but still was not permitted access to the worksite. Mr. Colt has a lifetime of experience on such sites. He has met all of the requirements. There should be no reason this site should be kept under lock and key. With the training and experience he has accrued over his lifetime, he's more than capable of following proper procedure and maintaining a safe order while he is on the premises. Mr. Cole's goal is to verify that we're using appropriately paid, safe, qualified individuals who have a good place to live during their time here. These are basic human rights that everyone should be able to agree on. On behalf of myself and the City Council, I would implore you to work with Mr. Colt. Thank you for your time.
Can I just ask a couple questions while I've got you? So I know Dan Moore sits on the authority and is an authority representative for your governmental body. And I didn't have a chance. I was probably tired from middle school teaching myself yesterday to follow the city council meeting. What was the response on behalf of Dan? And I know you can't speak exactly for him, but in terms of...
I will not speak verbatim, but he made a promise to make sure that questions and concerns were submitted and that they were answered in a timely manner.
Okay, as far as the authority's concerned and his role there? Okay.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
For your time.
Anybody else who would like to speak or address the board?
Okay. Guys, Mr. Cole, can I ask a clarifying question to you? Sure. Come on up. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for being a good neighbor, too.
You bet, you bet.
It's across one. Carver Jeans is right next door to my church. And
Oh, that's
they're
great.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good. That's you.
That's me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. So I just want to clarify, when you're saying you stated workers paying taxes that are on the job, are you talking about undocumented or illegal immigrants? Are you talking, help me clarify, are you talking about outside companies, or are you talking about people that have been trafficked here or forced labor? Just help me understand that.
Okay,
Because that was a
so,
very vague, if you can be more clear.
so we know, we know there's a subcontractor on site that has a history of using bad business practices.
Okay.
That involves all the above, Dan, to answer
Okay.
your question.
Okay.
There's workers, I've talked to workers, I've got a little question in my pocket here. Sometimes when I go on job sites, I ask workers, are you being paid? Are you okay? Do you have a place to stay? Because these workers are trafficked in from other areas. We've got them from Washington, Texas, Louisiana, all over the country. And sometimes they're promised wages, and when they get here, they don't receive those wages. And they're, not only they don't receive the wages, then they're told that they have to pay for their place to stay. And if they say anything, they're gonna get in trouble. And that's another thing. There's a lot of fear out there. And so when I approach these workers, they have rights. I approach them with caution because they're people too. Whether they're documented or not, they are people and they deserve to be treated fairly. And for contractors to take advantage of those workers and do that to them, it's just wrong. It's all wrong. So all of the above, Dan, is involved when they use these bad labor practices. And so, my ask is, let's talk to some of these workers because I know what I'm gonna find out. And I know this contractor's not gonna be able to supply me with an employee list from that particular subcontractor.
Is there a way, if I may?
Sure.
Unless you,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, no, you go ahead if you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So at this point, have you been provided a list of the valid subcontractors?
I have not.
Okay. And if you have a suspicion that a particular subcontractor is hiring or using hiring practices that are illegal or outside of the scope that would be a violation of the Department of Labor, what would normally be the recourse? Would it be a complaint to the Department of Labor?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll contact the misclassification unit, the wage and hour division. There's all of them.
And forgive my ignorance on this front because I'm not in the industry in the field as you are. Is there something that can start an investigatory process that could say, we have reason, if that's the case, to believe this is in violation? And so what I'm trying to get at essentially is what helps this process increase transparency so that information is public, but then secondarily, to be able to not carry out an investigation, so to speak, that isn't by the proper authorities. Does that make sense, Ernie?
Sure.
And just wanting to both respect the process, but then also make sure that it's followed through otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not a licensed investigator, right? I talk to workers, find out what's going on with them. If, a lot of times what is required from them is an in-person testimony, an affidavit, a signed affidavit, in-person testimony. That's the best, right? Well, if we can get one of those workers to actually stand up and say, hey, I haven't been getting paid right. They haven't been taking taxes out of my check. I'm not covered by workman's comp. Those kind of things. Then we can start an actual investigation. But the state of Iowa makes it very difficult, Jeremy, to do that because of their bidding practices. It's always low bid. And so there are not enough investigators in the state. At one time, there was 1.3 investigators in the entire state, and all I asked was for the 0.3 person to come to Sioux City. It's very hard to get an investigator to come and look. And so we have to do a lot of it on our own. And that was the purpose of the contractor quality assurance questionnaire, was to make sure that we had an opportunity to make sure that bad practices aren't being done on that project. And so it is our job. It is the Woodbury County Facilities Director to ask those questions and get those answers and provide it to us, the people who are actually paying for that project. That's a $70 million jail, guys. Nearly 70 million. I won't quote exact numbers. Don't we want to know what we're getting for our money? Don't we want to know what kind of people are building our jail? These people are from all over, Jeremy, and we just need to know who they are and hold them accountable to what they agreed upon at the beginning of the project. So if investigations need to happen, then yeah, we can start contacting the proper authorities and bringing them to Sioux City and seeing what we can get done. But I would much rather try to handle it right here, get it taken care of. We know how to do this.
Mr. Brittinger, did you have any other questions
go
about?
ahead.
Oh,
That you were going down my train of thought, yeah.
okay. No, I was just asking the question in terms of how this is normally handled. I'm trying to give the balance between the transparency and also the practicality of what I think are the LAC's concerns on building and making sure that things continue to go down the pathway that they think that ought to in terms of getting it built. But I also understand your concerns and want to.
Did I answer your question okay?
You did.
Okay.
Thank you.
And a lot of it, Jeremy, is just the simple fact that all the pushback, they don't want me to talk, they don't want me to be on the job, they don't want to give me any information. Is this some kind of revenge factor? I don't know what's going on there, but.
Yeah,
I
so
don't-
there was 2 meetings that you weren't allowed to speak at.
Pardon me?
There was 2 meetings that you weren't allowed to speak at.
They don't want me to speak. I had to speak. I had to stand up and say something. And then they're telling me, we don't want to hear it. We've got a jail to build. There's too much. We don't want to deal with it.
Because the 2 meetings that I was at, that you were there, you were granted the 3 minutes that they allow for all public comment. And then when you went over, they asked you to stop. So if we're talking transparency, I would appreciate.
Did they put that in the minutes, Mark? Did they put
I haven't seen
spoke in the minutes?
the minutes from Friday. I have not seen that one yet.
If it's just citizen concerns, due to parliamentary law, they wouldn't have to
Okay.
Yeah.
technically. Depends on, sometimes some agencies will do that, but it's not required.
But you know, we get into these situations all the time where 3 minutes, okay. 3 minutes is up, go sit down. But a lot of times, that conversation is still allowed to happen. And I think this is a pretty important conversation to have, Mark.
Yeah, and it's,
And-
and that would be
and-
up to the chair, whether it's here or at the LEC, right?
Sure.
To allow that time to go on, but, and that's fine, I agree that it is an important conversation to have, but I just didn't appreciate that you said that that the LEC chair or whoever kept you from speaking when you got the same 3 minutes that anybody else in that room would have had, and then when you went over and they said that that was enough, that you continued on. And then my other question was, you said that you were not allowed out to the jail. Are you aware of any other citizens that are not affiliated with the LEC authority, with the engineers or any of the contractors or an elected official that have been granted visitor rights to the
No, I'm
LEC?
not.
So there, well, it wouldn't be just signaling you out. In general, they haven't given any visitation rights to citizens.
If that's your spin on it, that's fine.
Well, it's not, I'm just asking,
Well, I'm
it's
getting
not a spin,
pushback.
though.
I'm getting pushback, Mark. That's what I'm feeling, okay? You don't want me on the site either? You don't want to know how our tax dollars are being spent?
My
What is,
question would
what
be.
is their problem?
No,
Why do
and
they,
that's-
and I say they don't want me to
So,
speak
we're not
because-
gonna have any kind of vote on this today, and we shouldn't say any positions on anything like that per
Yep.
our auditor's concerns about open meetings and what's on our agenda, because nobody from the LEC authority is here to take a side or position. So I think it would be in the best interest, we've given more than 3 minutes, and we should move on.
Yeah, I was just asking to clarify those 2 points. That was my questions.
We appreciate your bringing the concerns to us. And I would like to know if there's, in transparency, a list of those valid subcontractors to be able to meet that information request. I take that as an information request, whether it's formally or during these citizen concerns. And we'll look to the authority to follow up. I think it does bring the issue to the public light, and I appreciate your doing so.
You know, I could keep it real simple for them, Jeremy. We need a list of one subcontractor and a list of their actual employees on the project. That'll keep it really simple.
Appreciate it very much.
Thanks for your support, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for those of you who spoke during this time. We'll move on to board concerns. Hearing none, we are. Yes, Mr. Ung, Supervisor Ung.
If there's an allegation about the Woodbury County LEC project, I would think that for anyone to take it seriously, it should come from anyone but Ernie Colt. I don't trust his intentions. He never apologized for lying to the citizens and the public when he repeatedly told media sources, including the Sioux City Journal, that 90 to 95% of the project will be completed by contractors from outside Iowa or the region. That was demonstrated to be false. Thank you.
Any other board concerns? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.